Hello and welcome to Tai Chi Movements for Wellbeing. So it is a beautiful morning today. So I am guessing that some of you will be catching up with this when it's not quite so beautiful and sunny. So this is a session which is very mindful. So it's very much designed to focus on your breathing, on just any tension that's there in the body. And by just focusing inwards, we're sort of almost able to free the mind a little bit. Just forget about any sort of niggles or worries that you've got and focus very much on the here and now. What's going on inside these four walls? What's going on inside this body? And by doing that, it really helps you sort of ground yourself, center yourself, and bring yourself back to you. So what I'm going to do today with this session, we're going to just start by thinking about how we're standing, how we're sitting. So I'm going to start using the chair just for a small amount, just to get into it. So if those of you that are seated would like to make sure that you're very much grounded in the seated position, so feeling both sitting bones on the chair, feeling your feet on the floor, thinking about that long spine, if possible, sort of coming away from that position. We're not really using these core muscles, but wherever feels comfortable for you, but we're making a connection with the ground through the feet and through the sitting bones. And those of us that are standing, we're going to just play around with this foot position. So see if you can find that comfortable position where the weight is through your feet. The feet are underneath the hips, not too wide, not too narrow. Thinking about standing, not out of habit, not how we normally stand, but standing in a position that feels right for you today. It might feel a little bit odd, but you'll feel balanced. So in that seating position, you're going to feel those sitting bones on the chair, and we're going to just gently take our weight into the front of the sitting bones and into the back of the sitting bones. Standing, we're going to just gently take the weight into the front of the feet, into the heels. And as we're doing this, we're going to make those rocking movements smaller and smaller till we arrive at that midpoint where your weight feels centered. We can feel a connection with these feet on the floor. I'm going to get you to imagine that you're growing roots down into the ground and that you feel balanced, stable, connected. And then we're going to think about this long spine. And to do that, we're going to take these hands over this center. And as the hands sort of make contact with that center, we're going to allow that spine to lengthen from that mid part of the spine all the way up through the back of the neck, through the back of the neck to the crown of the head. And we're going to allow these shoulders to soften, to almost fall off that spine. And then we're going to take our awareness into that lower part of the spine, to the tailbone. And we're going to just notice any tension there. Allow that tension to dissipate, just to flow away. And then that tailbone is just going to gently grow a tail. So it's an imaginary tail that's coming all the way down to the floor, just hanging gently above those heels. So just to allow that tail to reach the floor, we're going to gently take those knees off lock, just soften them. And then just allow those palms to move away from that center. I'm going to rub these hands, rub these palms together. We're going to notice the skin of the hands. Notice how it feels, the texture, temperature. And then allow that head to rest in those hands, In that private space, let that neck soften, shoulders soften. And then again, taking those hands, creating some friction. Letting that head rest. One more time. So we're noticing how we feel, noticing how the skin feels, and then allowing any tension, any niggles, just to be breathed away as we feel that touch, fingers, thumb. And we're going to allow those hands to come away. So we're going to see if we can bring in this massage. You might want to move the feet a little bit if you feel very static. And then settle down again. Find that comfortable position. We're going to just let that, almost like fingertips, almost dancing over that head, back of the neck. And let your body guide you as to where you need to go with this. Let your body guide you. And then we're going to take those hands and bring that massage. Now this time, I'm going to use that light fist. So this wrist is going to become really floppy. But you can stay with the fingertips. We can use that smoothing action. And I'm going to pay a little bit of attention to the shoulders. There's a lot of tension stored here. It's almost as if we're all holding our breath, waiting to see what happens next. And so we're going to bring ourselves really into the moment. We're going to bring ourselves into your body, how it feels now. Some of us are really waiting to see what we can do next. So we're just going to let those thoughts just gently slip away. Just come into how that shoulder feels, how floppy you can make the hand and the wrist. And when you feel ready, how absorbent you can make this arm that's receiving the massage. Always back up the inside. Always coming back to the arm, coming back to the body. And then we're going to cover this front part of the body. Good. Can be alternate taps, can be at the same time. But we're going to cover the chest, the lungs, the digestive system. How's everything feeling? Just use it as a chance to take stock. You know, how am I today? How does my body feel? And then we're going to come around to the kidneys. I always find it, I like to do alternate taps, and then I get to this bit and I just want to tap them together. So do what's right for you. I'm going to take it over these glutes, down the backs of these legs, only going as far as you feel comfortable. Now you can bend your knees if you need to. And then we're going to come back up the inside of those thighs. So if that lower back gets sort of stiff and sore, just bend the knees. Let's take it to the sides. And again, nice and relaxed in the shoulders and the head, not overreaching. Just coming down as far as you feel comfortable. And then finally down the fronts, always back at the insides of those legs. Good. This time usually feels a little bit easier. I can't say it has done for ages, but today, finally, loosening up. Good. Okay, so you can shake those arms out a little bit. Shake those legs out. So there's still tension. And we're going to see if we can use this sequence to allow that tension to gradually dissipate. So again, find that comfortable position. We need to feel balanced if we're going to relax, if we're going to let these movements flow. So today, we're going to think about our breathing. And we're going to see if we can allow our movements to flow with our breathing. So from that center, we're going to think about breathing in. And as we breathe in, think about breathing down towards those hands. And as you breathe out, see if you can push that breath out through the mouth. You might notice the belly expanding as you breathe in. And you might notice that gradual moving in as you breathe out. And as you breathe out, we're going to allow those arms, those hands to just move away from that center. Form that circle. Allow those knees to come off lock. Feel balanced. Diagonal repatterning. Let's think about that breathing. Breathing out. Breathing into center. Finding your breathing pattern. Softening those shoulders. So if you're breathing in to that center, and breathing out through the shoulder, the arm, through those fingertips. It's almost that spiraling down through that left leg, and then pushing that left leg down to the floor. It's as if we're sinking down into the ground. And then that ground is pushing us back up. And all the while, we're thinking about that breath out, that breath in, and then 2 dragons wrapping. So I'm just going to take that weight transfer, right leg to left. It's that spiraling movement. And as it speeds up, letting those arms become floppy, weightless. I find the head and neck can turn as well. Again, the movement coming from the ground. And then as the legs stop, notice the arms take a while to come back. And then from that center, breathing out. Finding that position where that head and neck feels soft. We're going to see if we can open up this left side of the body and then come gently back up. Open up the right side of the body. You can feel that sense of something resting in the palms of your hands. It's like a fizzing ball of energy. And then we're going to lift our chest over that fizzing ball of energy. Open up that lower back. Come back. And then we're going to lift that chest. Gently opening up that abdominal area. So let's see if we can open up that left side of the body. Lift that chest over that fizzing ball. Open up the right side. And open up that abdominal area. We have this fizzing energy ball resting in the forearms. And we're circling that rib cage. So the hips relaxed and still. We're breathing in. We're breathing out. This ball is starting to roll over those internal organs. As they roll back, they're fizzing back into shape, passing some of that energy into them. Good. So we're going to do 5 circles one way, and then we're going to roll back. We're opening up that lower back, opening up that left side of the body, opening up that stomach area, the right side, and then we're breathing out, breathing in. The head is soft, shoulders, neck, chin. So we'll take one more this way. Notice those core muscles working, moving. And then just letting those arms, letting them go. Let them fall by your side. That chest is open, that long spine. And think about that breathing. As we breathe in, just going to imagine these arms opening. And as we breathe out, soft elbows. See if we can allow these arms to synchronize with your breathing. The arms draw out, the breath draws in. And as the arms slowly flow back, the breath is pushed out. Let's take the awareness into our legs. We can feel the feet on the floor. As we breathe in, just pushing those feet down into the floor, rising up. And as we breathe out, sinking back down. Just the slightest softening in the knee. So now I'm going to fly like wild geese. Expand this move. Elbows. So we're lifting those elbows. Shoulders are soft. There's that drawing of that breath in. Soft neck. Soft face. This flow. It's as if these arms are supported. Effortless. Heaven and earth. This time. Circles. So that connection with those feet on the floor. It's as if we're sinking down into the ground. And then that ground pushing us up. Giving us something to push against, to work with, to enable that rise. Soft shoulders. That lovely long spine, relaxed neck. And opening to the day. That welcome. So easy when we can feel the sunshine streaming through the window. Blue sky. Whether it was grey and rainy, it's still a new day. It's a new morning. we're going to welcome it in. We're going to think about all things, all possibilities. The sun rises in the morning. And then we're going to sweep down. Bend those knees ever so slightly. Heels stay down. Palms meet. We're going to breathe in. And we're going to breathe out. So imagine as we push up, as we breathe in, any cloud, not just cloud outside, but any clouds that might be hanging over you, anything that's worrying you. While we're here, let's push those clouds away. Let's let some sunshine shed some light on you, on everything. And then we're going to row that boat. So the hands coming forwards. We're going to breathe in. So we're going to make this circle right for you. As we breathe in, and as we breathe out, the circle could be smaller. The knee bend could be smaller. Thinking about our breathing, by that flow. And then that circle becomes right for us. So we're going to gaze at the moon. One hand, this left shoulder. Just going to lead that gaze over the shoulder. Taking that weight through that right leg. And feel those feet rooted to the floor. That weight coming through that left leg. Through that right leg. That rotation. And taking two hands. Breathing out. And in. Toes are soft. Feet soft. Face is soft. Just standing within yourself. We're going to think about that natural step. So you might need to move your feet a little bit. We do become quite static. Now we're going to see if we can turn this foot. So this will be your left foot. We're just turning on that heel, just placing the ball of the foot down. We're going to turn those hips in line with that big toe. Let that weight come through this front leg. Now we're just going to place the heel of the other foot down and then roll into the ball of that foot. So we're stepping out and then allowing these hips to come back to center. So we have our natural step. So with that long spine, shoulders soft, we're going to gently place that tail down. Good. Think about that center expanding. Just going to gently take the weight into that front foot. But both feet stay firmly in contact with the floor. Then into the back foot, so into that front foot. And if we need to make any adjustments, if we feel unbalanced, we can do it now. And then we're going to see if we can breathe in. Bring that weight into that back foot. Breathe out. Here am I. Breathing in. Notice if you get unstuck at this point. If you feel unbalanced, if you feel off kilter, just bring it back to that position where we're open, we're balanced, we feel okay with the amount of effort we're using, so we're not overreaching. And then breathing in. Try not to push too hard. It's okay to just do a little bit. And then changing that leading foot. So as we come back to our original position, taking that foot out, turning those hips, placing that heel down, gently rolling through to the ball of that foot. Just gently checking. So with that long spine, breathing in. Here am I. So from this center, this is me. This is the real me. When we are our real selves, suddenly things become less effort. Just do the things that are right for us. Coming back from that center, placing that tail down, gently taking those knees off lock, and noticing that connection between the palms, between the hands with your center. And then we're going to take that left hand over the right, palms facing you, and we're going to draw this left hand. And as the left hand draws, it's as if this invisible thread draws the right. And that palm is turning, so those palms are facing. And then as this right hand draws backwards, palm turns to face the abdominals and it becomes the top hand. And this time the left hand. So generally breathing out as we move away from center, but finding that breathing pattern that works for you. Finding the softness, the flow. And then coming back. Our 5 elements. We're breathing in, breathing out, breathing in. Think about that breath, synchronizing with the movement. Think about the body flow, working with the body. listening to it, allowing it to guide you, not forcing it. Allowing that flow. Feeling those feet connected, rooted to the ground. As we rise up, gently sink back down. As we breathe in, as we breathe out. Just allow yourself to be still for a few moments. And then when we're ready, we'll move into our circle of well-being. So we're going to take our weight to that right foot. Draw this circle. It can be smaller, it can be bigger. Transferring that weight over to the left foot. Breathing in, breathing out. Making that small circle smaller if we need to, listening to that back. Then changing direction. So imagine drawing shimmering line. It's a well-being line all the way around you. It's going to look after you today. It's going to keep that circle sunny, warm, full of positive energy. And then we're going to breathe in. We're going to breathe out. Drawing that breath in. Shoulders are soft. Face is soft. There's that breath in. And with this last one, thinking about bringing all of you back into that center. Feeling those feet on the floor. Noticing that breath. And then standing. And when you feel ready, listening to some of those sounds around you, just moving those feet. We'll have a little break for a minute or two. I'll just have a little look at the chat function. So if you need a comfort break, now I'm sort of aware in this session that we do go through the sequence twice. And if that sort of is too much for you, feel free to just finish after one sequence. But if you're comfortable doing the two, then stay with me. It's slightly shorter the next one. Agnes, that sounds gorgeous. In the garden, it's just beautiful, isn't it? It just makes everything so much better. So I quite often feel that I sort of find my way in the first sequence. It sort of connects me back, and sometimes the maximum benefit I get is in the next one. So again, just while we're having a little comfort break, if you do use some of the moves in your chair, just it occurred to me that some of the movements We just need to make sure that you're just careful. So 2 dragons wrapping, it's very much tempered in the chair, otherwise you're going to sort of smack your arm here. But I wanted to talk about the natural step in the chair. So I'll just move. If we're turning this foot out, it's a very small step in. And what you will find with this is that there's a slight movement in the upper body. So when we're standing, it's the legs that take it. But in the chair, there is that slight transference of weight. So we're still pushing off the floor. Okay. But you'll notice there's a little bit more of this movement. So if you'd like me to do one of the sequences next week fully in the chair, just let me know by the chat, and I'd be delighted to do that. I thought I'd leave it in your hands. Anyway, oh, this is dangerous. If he starts barking, I apologize, okay? I'm gonna just find that comfortable position. I'm on the squeaky floorboards now. Relax those shoulders. I'm just going to do this once. I'm going to notice how different the hands feel at this point compared to the start. And this is our one chance just to be ourselves, just to come into those hands. Drop the facade. And then I always find this time round it's much easier to listen to the body, so that it will take you exactly where it thinks it needs this massage. And then when you're ready, to the shoulder. Focusing on that breath out. Paying attention to this body. Not worrying if you find yourself suddenly out of the body and into something totally different. Just let any thoughts that invade your head gently slip away. Imagine turning a tap on in your mind and then just gently letting those thoughts wash away. How do we turn that tap on? Think about our feet. Think about our breathing. Think about what's going on in this body. Think about that connection between breathing and movement. So this time, it may well feel a little bit easier coming down the back up the inside. Maybe not. It's definitely starting to come. And that's what it's all about, repetition, not force. So we're going to respect our bodies. Listen when it says that's enough. Really listen. Let's not allow the mind to take over and tell the body what it wants it to do. Let's listen to this body. So let's feel those feet on the floor. Just allow those knees to soften. Settle like that boat in water. Find that connection, that circle. Diagonally patterning. You're going to do 3 movements. 3 on each side. Notice that breathing. Notice those shoulders. And now that tension to move away from the shoulders. Turn on that tap. 2 dragons wrapping. It's as if you're playing with your arms, just seeing how floppy you can make them. Nice long neck, not letting that chin drop. So that spine is that core of steel, and it's surrounded by these rubber arms. And then from that center, opening up that left side, the lower back, breathing in as we open up that stomach area, breathing out as we open up the lower back, softening that head, that neck, that chin, breathing out. Notice any tension in that pelvis, in that tailbone. See if you can open that tap. Let that tension flow away through the ground, flowing away. So on that breath in, that breath out, drawing that breath in like a pair of bellows, pushing the air out. Heaven and earth. Thinking about this long spine, this core of steel, surrounded by silk, silk shoulders, silk arms, silk fingers, and then softness across the chest, across the shoulders. Breath in. Notice if we overreach, we go beyond our stretch point, and then bending those knees. Breathing in. Noticing all the wonderful things that surround us. Moving some of the obstacles that stop us seeing them. And then reversing. Breath in. Finding your circle. It can be small, it can be smaller. And as if that golden glow resting in those arms, gazing at the moon. Giving us that opportunity to look around us, to notice all those things that aren't just in front of us, just there waiting for us to notice. That natural step. So I'm going to turn my back to you. We're going to turn this foot outwards, hips, stepping out with that heel. And then allow those hips to move back forwards, tail down. And breathe in. Here am I. This is who we are. Placing that heel. And then the ball of the foot. Breathing in. Soft toes. Notice if we tend to overreach. Try too hard. This is where we listen to that body. Allow us to tell, enough is enough. And then waving hands like clouds. Feeling that sense, something drawn into your center, then letting that right hand or left hand So we're standing, imagining that the ceiling is suddenly drawn back, the walls have disappeared, and we're in a field, grass, there's trees around us, sky is blue, the sun is shining. We're going to take that breath in. We're going to think about how these things make us feel. We can hear bird song, the sound, the stream winding its way, gurgling, splashing. You can feel that breeze just ruffling your hair. You're taking that breath. Air feels energized. Feels like life. And as you stand, allow yourself to be nourished. And then We'll take that circle of well-being, noticing this weight transfer through the feet as we rise up, that transfer from left through to right, and then right through to left. Changing direction. Now return to center. Following your hands in. As we finish that second sequence, you're going to notice the feet on the floor. I'm just going to gently wiggle those toes. Think about any noises you can hear. I can hear the bird song. I haven't got any windows open, but they're singing away, happy as Larry. And I can hear, I don't know if you could hear it, but I can hear Sam the dog just breathing out. It's strangely very relaxing. But Agnes, thank you for joining me. That was lovely. Possibly one of my favourites yet. Each week is my favourite. Anyway, I hope I find you well, my friends. I keep thinking I'm going to do a sequence seated and then I sneak off. So if you would like one seated, email me, pop a message to me. Otherwise, have a great day too, my friends. I definitely will now. Goodbye.